A community group is holding a neighborhood barbecue in Frazier today in response to the latest violent crime there. Lifeline to Success is hosting the event at 1 p.m. at Ardmore Terrace Baptist Church on Schoolfield Road. Last night, two men who'd been shot were dropped off at a fire station on Overton Crossing. They're both expected to survive. Police don't know where the shooting happened. A grassroots approach may be the city's best hope in fighting rampant crime. Several community organizations are already hard at work, but need more to join them. Ladell Beamon heads up Heal the Hood, and he's here with Rod Moses, Chief Administrative Officer of Memphis Athletic Ministry. Two such community groups you've worked tirelessly to try to make a difference. What do you see in terms of your group's efforts, Ladell? What makes the most difference with what you do?
I think realism, because a lot of times with a lot of the kids that we're faced with, they see this whole fantasy world that they're dealing with that's exposed to them through the entertainment industry, through the hip-hop artists, and it's this huge facade. And
money, glamour,
yes,
that kind of thing?
And they see it, and these kids buy into this world knowing that a lot of these artists or recording artists that are out here, they're not doing, you know, everything that they're saying that they're doing. And so the kids have to be exposed to realism, because that's not happening in their lives. They don't see what reality looks like, that people aren't on the music video shooting somebody and dying and getting back up after the video. You know, they don't look at it as a fantasy. They're accepting fantasy as their reality. So we need to bring them some more reality.
Obviously you have to look at children, as you just pointed out, Ladell, but what about city leaders? What about the faith-based community? Are they doing enough, and should more people step up as well?
I think it's about a unified effort, because I don't see the unity that needs to happen. You have it done sporadically in certain areas, but I don't think everyone is coming together like they need to attack it, just like they did in Baltimore. Eugene Rivers was really instrumental for 5 years bringing everybody together in a community where there were no juvenile murders in 5 years in Baltimore.
And
that was a community group that managed to do that. Rod, tell us what MAM does. What do you all focus on, and why does it work?
Well, we are an after-school faith-based ministry. We primarily use sports to get the kids in the door. But once they come in the door, we offer homework help. We offer sports leagues for the kids.
Are you the family that maybe they don't have to go home to because either the parents are working all the time just to put food on the table, or they're just not there?
Absolutely. We absolutely step in that role. A lot of times we, of course, go to the schools. We'll show up at games and different events, and the kids will rely on us for just basic mentoring and just to have that adult to build conversation, build relationship with.
When you show that type of support, really devoting your own time to a young person, what does that mean to him or her, though, in the long run?
Well, it's huge. It's huge. Every kid needs an adult to lead them and guide them in life. And a lot of our society now, kids are left to basically raise themselves, or as Ladell said, the TV or the entertainment world to raise them. And so many of our children don't have that caring, loving adult to pour love into them, so they'll know how to love and how to be productive in society. And that's what we try to do as an organization.
And maybe the one example they see of wealth is the gang member with the fancy rims and the fancy and they're always looking for recruits. Both your organizations and a lot of other community organizations started with one person saying, you know what, I got to do something. Why were you driven, Ladell?
We had a kid who had dreams, and he left Carver High School at 15 years old to go to Job Corps in Virginia so he can live his life. He comes back to Memphis and he visits me, and at that point he said we're going to have fun in the summer. We talked about what we're going to do, and he never made it back to Virginia and Job Corps because they found him with his brains blown out on Farrow Street in South Memphis. And when I looked at that, the community put on these T-shirts, we love Marvin Robinson. At the end of the day, they couldn't find the murderer, but at the end of 2 weeks, because the community showed love, his murderer came forth, and it wasn't a rival gang member, but it was his best friend that had murdered him.
We hear so many different causes, so many different routes to this problem. We have an interview or a soundbite we want to share with you that from Memphis Mayor A.C. Wharton just from a day or so ago.
I like to talk about race because we're supposed to be in a post-racial society. When it comes to crime in this city, it is young male blacks between the ages of 17 and 24 years.
Rod, what about it? Obviously, is that the perception? Is that the root of the problem here? Young black males?
Well, of course, you know, there is a problem with our young black males having that leadership. Unfortunately, we attended a funeral of a young black male who was a ma'am kid just yesterday. I know the mayor said 17 through 20, but he was actually 13. Yeah. And it's just unfortunate. He was just a kid who had hopes and dreams. Even at the homegoing service, they presented a note that he wrote while he was actually in our center that he had hopes of making $50,000 a year at one time. We were fortunate enough to have him to come across our path, and I actually had a chance to talk with his mother. And, you know, as a result of our ministry and pouring into him, she felt comfort that, you know, he's in heaven. And so we're grateful for that.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your work, because you're giving kids an idea that there is a different path.
Thank you.
And one kid
Thank
at
you
a
for your time.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All
We'll
right.
link to both websites so you can get more information about their organization.
The Memphis Police Department